welcome to this Friday, October the 14th edition of the Ringside Report. I am Ryan Young. Anthony Smoody is out. He's not answering his phone, so it's like a Friday tradition we have here on the Ringside Report. Let's start this show off by recapping what happened on Smackdown on Tuesday. Dolph Ziggler comes out as the new Intercontinental Champion, comes out and does a promo saying, you know what, he's back, he's able to do it. Then Miz comes out and says, well, guess what, I'm gonna get my rematch, but there's people that aren't done with you. Here comes Kenny, and I'm not sure the other one of the Spirit Squad. Dolph Ziggler beat both of them in a handicap match. Naomi defeats Carmella. Jimmy Uso defeats Chad Gable. AJ Styles comes out, and he is the face that still runs the place on SmackDown Live. Then Dean Ambrose comes out and they go back and forth, and eventually he says, or first AJ Styles says he's doing an open challenge. It becomes James Ellsworth, which then leads to Dean Ambrose, and Daniel Bryan comes out and says the special guest referee for that match is going to be Dean Ambrose. Well, Dean Ambrose being the special guest referee definitely did not give an easy time to AJ Styles, and James Ellsworth gets a victory over the World Heavyweight Champion in AJ Styles, which was big. And then Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper get a win over Kane and Randy Orton. Some things that did get talked about in this show were the big announcement by Shane and Daniel Bryan for pretty much what they're going to be doing at Survivor Series coming up in November. Is there's going to be 3 traditional Survivor Series matches, which for you folks that don't know what they are, is a tag team elimination match, which you have to eliminate the whole other team to be able to win. And in that, they want to do a SmackDown versus Raw. So they're going to do a kind of a Battle of the Brands thing, which remember, I don't know if you folks remember the Battle Rights pay-per-views that took place the last time these two, Raw and SmackDown, went at it. But of course, it's going to be there's going to be a 10-man one with tag teams. Then there's going to be a women's one, and then there's going to be just a typical one. So that raises the question of, are we going to see any championship matches at Survivor Series? Because you got to think that the world title match, or the world champions, they're going to want them on their teams. So we'll see what happens there, and of course we'll wait till Monday night's Raw to determine what is going on there. Now, also, the big news, James Ellsworth getting a win. Of course, for you folks that don't know, if you get a win over a champion in a non-title match, you get a championship match. Well, you're thinking, well, James Ellsworth is not a man on the roster. Well, according on Talking Smack following Smackdown on the WWE Network, they announced that James Ellsworth will be getting a World Heavyweight title match against AJ Styles next week. Now, obviously, there's probably no chance of him winning, but if he makes it as exciting as that match was this past week on SmackDown, it should be a fun and entertaining match, and that will take place Tuesday night. They're saying it's from Denver. Raw's from Denver, so they might be doing the same thing like they did in Chicago, where they're going to have the same show, or both shows in the same city. So, but I think it was pretty much a very, very good, entertaining SmackDown. I think it's one that kept your interest. And of course, it was the recap of what took place at No Mercy on Sunday. And overall, and like we said, the Usos, and you know the Usos and the American Alpha, they're going at it with each other. So a lot of awesome things going on with SmackDown, and I think that'll probably be it of the Spirit Squad. Dolph Ziggler proving he is the Intercontinental Champion. Miz will be getting a rematch. Not sure when that'll be, possibly Survivor Series, because I don't think they have a SmackDown-only pay-per-view for a while. So that was SmackDown. We're going to take a time out here on the Ringside Report. When we come back, we're going to recap Ring of Honor as they continue their Field of Honor, as they keep showing them matches, and we'll give you a recap. That's next on the Ringside Report. On this date, back in 2007, Sting wins his second TNA World title. Of course, he went the 3 in a row at Bound for Glory. On Wednesdays on this date, we had when he won his 3rd one. I believe that was in Chicago, and I'm not sure where this one was, but Sting went on that reign. And of course, we heard at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony for this past April that Sting announced his retirement after being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Of course, you never know if wrestlers really never retire, so we'll see if he'll ever get a chance to come back But, of course, you got a lot of great guys. You got one guy coming back, and, of course, that's Goldberg. He'll be on Monday Night Raw coming up on Monday. I'm definitely excited about that, to see him in the ring. Brock Lesnar is advertised for the following week, so apparently these two aren't going to really get to see eye-to-eye with each other until very close to their match, whenever that is. Most likely it'll be Survivor Series coming up in November. So looking forward to that, but it's going to be fun to see Goldberg, and we'll have a preview of that on Monday's show, along with recapping Impact and previewing Raw and Smackdown. No pay-per-views. It's the first week in like almost a month that we don't have a pay-per-view to recap or even preview here on Friday. Now let's recap Ring of Honor. Of course, Field of Honor took place this in August, and they're showing them shows right now on Ring of Honor television. The match that took place, Kyle O'Reilly defeats Shibata, and of course, Ring of Honor television champion Bobby Fish, also the tag team partner of Kyle O'Reilly, was out doing commentary. Very good job, and he also knew a lot about Shibata, so he gave in good insight there. Then your main event, it was for the Ring of Honor World title, as Adam Cole defeats Jay Lethal, Naito, and Tanahashi. And it was a very good match also. And I like, of course, I've always said this, I'm a big fan of the outdoor shows. I always used to love WCW when they did their spring breakout, when they did their Road Wild especially. So definitely it was always fun to see those. So getting a chance to see outdoor shows. WWE don't really do them anymore. WrestleMania a couple of years ago, and of course WrestleMania coming up this year, or in 2017 in Orlando. Looking forward to doing that. Our Ringside Report will be at our third straight WrestleMania, and this one I think is going to be possibly the funnest one of them all, being in Orlando, and our first opportunity, my first opportunity to get a chance to go there. But a big, so a nice win by Adam Cole. We continue to talk about who possibly is going to be in the world title picture, with him going into, getting closer to Final Battle, which is a little over, probably about a month and a half away, December 2nd, Friday, December 2nd, on pay-per-view. And I think a lot of people keep saying, of course, with the promo that you saw from, oh, what's his name? I forgot his name, but the guy that was from Wisconsin, for some reason it's, anyway. But the one that's with the Beer City Bruiser, he has a great opportunity of possibly being there. So we'll see where it comes from, but as of right now, I think you got to think possibly Jay Lethal going to get his rematch, or he hasn't really got his one-on-one rematch, so that makes you wonder if it's ever going to happen, and hopefully, if he does get his opportunity to fight back, to get his championship match, but I'm not sure if he's renewing his contract. Possibly a guy that you might see in debut in WWE one day, so who knows, but that was Ring of Honor, as we're probably going to be seeing within the next couple of weeks. They're taping starting from Las Vegas, or from Worcester, Mass, following All-Star Extravaganza, so we'll start, and that'll probably lead into Final Battle coming up December the 2nd. We're going to take a time out here on the Ringside Report. When we come back, we're going to recap NXT, and that'll close out your week. That's next on the Ringside Report. Welcome back here to the Ringside Report for this Friday, as we're getting you set for the weekend. By the way, in memory of Captain Lou Albano. Never got a real chance to see him, manage. It was way before my time, but, so again, he died 6 years ago on this day. Or I believe it's about 8 years now. But anyway, so thoughts and prayers, obviously. Always a great manager, and again, 2016 by itself has been a rough year overall for deaths in a lot of places. Okay, now let's recap NXT. Of course, the Dusty Rhodes tag team tournament. First tag team match. Bobby Roode, of course, went up to Ty Dillinger and said, "I want you to be my tag team partner." Well, then all of a sudden there was the debut of Sanity, and they came in and they annihilated Ty Dillinger. Bobby Roode just left. And then eventually, following the match, Sanity gets the victory. They advance. Bobby Roode said then after the match, "I'm not a tag team." So, of course, he was doing a heel thing, so you got to think it's going to be Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode starting a feud. And what a match that would be. And it probably will be in the hometown of Bobby Roode, which is Toronto, Ontario, at NXT TakeOver Toronto. Sanity gets the win, and then it reveals that the leader of the pack is Eric Young, and they're advancing. And of course, it's good. That's going to be interesting because again, I think me and Tony talked about that. Having him as your lead guy and the character, he can do anything, and I think that's going to be beneficial to NXT and Sanity. Billie Kay gets a win over Liv Morgan. Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament, a TM6-1 gets a victory over two guys. One of the guys was in They showed him on Breaking Ground, Tino Matalani or whatever, and then another guy they lost. And TM6-1 advances. Blake versus Murphy was going to be an interesting match, but we forgot about Samoa Joe. He made his appearance back, and he attacked both men and said he wants Shinsuke Nakamura. Well, then all of a sudden it goes a commercial break, comes back, Shinsuke Nakamura comes out. Shinsuke takes off the neck brace, and they go at it. So they brawl around the Full Sail University, and you got to think these two. Again, it's been a fun rivalry. The fans still love it, and we're going to get a rematch. Most likely, that'll probably be your main event coming up for NXT TakeOver Toronto, which is scheduled for the night before Survivor Series. So what a weekend it's going to be. Most likely, it's going to be Goldberg getting his opportunity against Brock Lesnar, and then have an NXT TakeOver. So and that's the weekend before Thanksgiving. So it's going to be one fun week, because of course that's my favorite holiday with the eating. Really can't go wrong with Thanksgiving. Okay, so that's you're all caught up on wrestling, and of course Impact was last night. You got a chance to see Marche Rocket get his X Division title match. We'll have a full recap of that show coming up on Monday when we return, and then we'll recap we'll preview Raw and Smackdown, which will probably be the funnest 1-2 punch. You got Goldberg coming on Monday. You got an independent star and James Ellsworth getting a chance at the title on Tuesday. So it should be a fun week for wrestling. And of course, it's a fun week if you're a Chicago Cub fan. Congratulations to the Cubs Tuesday night. What a win. Comeback win in the 9th inning. I was expecting Game 5 to be last night. They didn't need it. Now they focus on the NLCS, which will begin tomorrow night. Tonight's the ALDCS. But as we're taping this earlier, don't have an opponent yet. But Dodgers or Nationals begins tomorrow night at Wrigley. So everyone have a great weekend, safe weekend in Chicago. I was going to go, but I'm going to watch them. I'm going to go to the Pumpkin Farm tomorrow. And then on Sunday, both games going to sit back and enjoy them at home. And hoping my team can get that much closer to the inevitable, and that'd be a world championship. So good luck, Cubs, over the weekend. That'll depend when Monday show will be taped before either one of them things happen. So I'll still be happy and I'll still be excited, and I still won't know what happens until Wednesday's show. So that's it for us. Everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy. Especially if you're a Cub fan, enjoy, because the Cubs haven't won an NLCS game since 2003. I'm Ryan Youngs, and thank you for watching the Ringside Report, your front row seat to all things wrestling.